All right, now we are on our third and last day of exponents here. This one's called power of a power or power of a quotient. It depends on if you have a multiplication problem or a division problem. Starting with the ignites again to get us warmed up. See a multiplication problem here. So we are identifying our coefficients, multiplying them together. Then we are looking for our like bases here, right? We've got x's here, x is in front. So if you are multiplying like bases, then you add the exponents, y to the negative 2. And right, this is a y to the 0. And what we learned last time is that any non-zero raised to a 0 is going to be a 1. So if you multiply by a 1, it sort of goes away, right? Property of identity. Part B here, I've got my constants. So if I multiply them together, I would have a 16 in the numerator and a negative 3 in the denominator. So they're all m's. M to the 0, right, is going to turn into a 1. So if I multiply by 1, I don't change anything. M cubed on the top and m to the first and the bottom. So I'd have 16m over negative 3. All right, so we've talked about zero exponents, negative exponents. Now we're going to talk about power of a power or power of a quotient. All right, so looking here at the box here, they've got power of a power. You're going to multiply the exponents. So if you have a raised to the m, and that power is raised to a power, that's why they call it power of power, then you'd multiply those powers together. So we've got b cubed all raised to the 5th, so it's going to be b to the 15th. So just as an example, right, if we know it's to the 5th, then we would have b cubed times itself, right, 5 times. So then using the other rules, right, if you get the same base, then you can add your exponents. That's another way to think about getting to the 15. All right, so I have 2 to the 1st and x to the 1st all raised to the 4th. So then I can multiply those powers together. Then I'd have 2 to the 4th, x to the 4th. All right, well, right here we have these powers together. So we could just take whatever's on the inside there and then just raise it to the 4 instead of raising it to the 2, then raising it to the 2. Now you've got to realize here that 8 also has a power of a 1. So I'm going to take this 4 and then multiply by the power of 1, and then 4 multiplied by the power of 3, and then 4 multiplied by the power of 4. All right, express the volume of a cube with side length 5xyz as a monomial. So if that's the side length, they want us to cube it. So then I would have 5xyz to the 3rd power, and all of these on the inside here, right, have a power of a 1. So then it's really 5 to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd, z to the 3rd. All right, power of a quotient. Okay, now we're going to power of a quotient, find the power of the numerator and power of the denominator. That's right, so we have a power here, and we have a power is m, we have quotient a over b. So just like we had earlier, right, so this is a to the 1st, so you could multiply that, you'd have a to the m, that'd be b to the 1st, you multiply that, you'd have b to the m. So you're just kind of doing that same rule, just realize it could be a top or a bottom. All right, so I've got a power on the outside of a 3, and then just writing down the exponents on the inside so we don't forget. So then I'd have 4 to the 3rd, c to the 9th, d to the 9th. Then I'd have the quantity negative 5 to the 3rd. Don't forget about that negative along with it, because if you have 3 negatives, your number is still negative. If you have an even number of negatives, then that would end up being a positive value. Again, recognizing the 2 on the outside and recognizing the powers on the inside that are 1s. So if I have negative 3 squared, it'll be a positive 9, but I don't really want to think about that just yet. I just want to go one at a time. That doesn't look good. That's a 4. All right, so we took that outside square and moved it to the inside, so now we can simplify the expression. So if I have -3 squared, I know this is going to be a 9, and 9 over 4 squared is going to be 9 over 16. Now I'm looking for my letters there, L, M, N, O, P, right? So M is going to be first alphabetically. There's no other M's, so it's not going to move. N, I've got n to the 4th over n squared. So it's going to be n squared remaining in the numerator, and then p to the 10th in the denominator. All right, moving on to page 2. These are the U-tries. We're going to pause it here and come back and check your answers. All right, starting off with the first one, right, we have a large quantity raised to the 0. We talked about that in the previous section. If we're raised to the 0, the value is going to be a 1. In example 2, I saw a lot of characters here, so instead of taking this square on the outside and sort of passing it through to everybody on the inside, I simplified first because I saw -36 over 4, so I thought might as well just call that a -9. Then x cubed over x squared would just be x to the first power. Q to the 0 would be a multiplied 1, so it goes away. H squared over h to the 8 would give me h to the 6th in the denominator, and that quantity is still squared. So now if I square every one on the inside here, now there's only 3 terms instead of all the terms that we previously had. So -9 squared is a +81, x squared is x squared, and h to the 6th squared is h to the 12th. Another cube question here, right? They're giving you the side length of a cube. They're telling you it's side cubed. You take that whole quantity and cube it. Then I took the 2 cubed and just wrote it as an 8, and then p cubed and q cubed. That's it for today. Thanks.